The scheming woman was about to go on stage to give a speech on behalf of the president's wife. Unexpectedly, when she opened it, it was all in a foreign language. She immediately panicked. With only an elementary school education, she couldn't understand the speech at all. So the scheming woman pretended to be sick. Then she ordered a colleague she didn't like to take her place. But to her surprise, the colleague agreed without hesitation. The scheming woman was thrilled. She was ready to laugh at her colleague later. Little did she know, she herself would become the biggest joke of all, because she wasn't the real president's wife at all. The plain-looking colleague beside her was the real one. It all started a few days ago. The president needed to go abroad to expand overseas business, so he entrusted all domestic affairs to his wife. The president's wife usually preferred to keep a low profile. That day, she rode an electric scooter to the company. She accidentally bumped into the scheming woman. The scheming woman was furious. She immediately demanded compensation from her. The president's wife felt very sorry, so she gave her a scarf worth $500,000 as compensation. The scheming woman was instantly delighted. The scarf she was wearing was only worth $50. After getting the expensive scarf, the scheming woman arrogantly walked away. Little did she know, this scarf would change her fate. Meanwhile, the company executives had already learned that the president's wife was coming. They were respectfully waiting at the elevator entrance to welcome her. But to their surprise, the president's wife and the scheming woman walked out of the elevator together. Faced with the plainly dressed president's wife and the scheming woman wearing a scarf worth $500,000, they immediately pushed the president's wife aside and warmly welcomed the scheming woman. When the executives mistook her identity, the scheming woman rolled her eyes cleverly. Wouldn't pretending to be the president's wife bring her many benefits? So the scheming woman boldly admitted the identity. Meanwhile, the real president's wife was left aside and ignored. She was even mistaken by the executives for the new cleaning lady. The president's wife was a little angry. She stated that she was the real president's wife, but the executives didn't believe her at all. They took the scheming woman and left directly. Faced with this group of snobbish colleagues, the president's wife suddenly came up with a fun plan. The president's wife disguised herself as a cleaner. While cleaning, she secretly noted which colleagues were not serious at work. After the president's wife finished her investigation, she was about to leave work. The scheming woman suddenly shouted that her gemstone ring was missing. She insisted the cleaner must have stolen it. The president's wife found it very strange. Why would they slander her like that? But the scheming woman even asked her to open her bag for inspection. The president's wife firmly refused. But unexpectedly, a colleague snatched her bag. They dumped all the contents onto the floor. Shockingly, the ring was really inside her bag. The colleagues were stunned. They had heard this ring was worth $30 million, bought by the president for his wife. But the president's wife was unimpressed. She said the ring's craftsmanship was cheap. It wasn't even worth $3. The real ring was clearly in the president's office. But the scheming woman and the colleagues didn't believe her at all. How could an ordinary cleaner know where the gemstone ring was? The president's wife stayed calm. She said, "Let's just check and see." They came to the door of the president's office. Awkwardly, entering the office required facial recognition. The scheming woman nervously stepped forward to verify. As expected, the verification failed. Just then, the president's wife confidently stepped forward. The office door opened instantly. The colleagues were shocked. Could they really have mistaken the wrong person? But the next second, a man suddenly walked out of the office. This man was the president's younger brother. He had lived abroad for years and had never met the president's wife. Today, he also mistook the scheming woman for the president's wife. He told her to prepare well for the speech in a few days. The scheming woman breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out the younger brother had opened the door from inside. The scheming woman immediately became excited. She left with the colleagues right away. The real president's wife just smiled slightly. She thought the scheming woman was truly foolish. A few days later, the company banquet was held as scheduled. The scheming woman was about to go on stage to give her speech. But when she opened the speech, she realized she couldn't understand a single word. She quickly pretended to have a stomachache. She claimed she couldn't go on stage. She even called the real president's wife over. She asked her to go on stage in her place. The scheming woman looked pained and pitiful on the surface, but inside she was delighted. She thought today the president's wife would be completely completely humiliated, and then she would get her kicked out of the company. But little did she know, today was originally the president's wife's turn to speak. The president's wife took the speech the scheming woman couldn't read. She confidently went back to prepare. Soon, the scheduled speech time arrived. The president's younger brother looked at the scheming woman in confusion. Wasn't she supposed to give the speech today? He wondered. Why was she still sitting in the audience? The scheming woman quickly explained the reason to him. Just then, the real president's wife pushed open the banquet hall doors. She wore a stunning, high-end custom gown. She gracefully walked onto the stage. The audience was instantly amazed. Only the scheming woman was filled with resentment. But she quickly calmed herself down, because no matter how good the president's wife looked today, it wouldn't matter. Her speech was destined to fail. The president's wife calmly opened the speech, but after just one glance, she was stunned. The pages were completely blank. Meanwhile, the scheming woman was secretly laughing triumphantly in the audience. She had secretly swapped the speech beforehand. Although the president's wife was angry, she quickly regained her composure. She then began delivering a fluent, impromptu speech. The audience immediately looked at her with admiration. After the speech, even the president's younger brother couldn't help but praise her. Only the scheming woman looked extremely displeased. Little did she know, the president's wife's counterattack had only just begun.